Let's proceed to the next screen. So the next screen is a playground screen, which is it's more detailed with more work. So let's head over to our project. We'll create a new class in our screens folder called the playground screen .dart. Awesome. Create a class called playground screen. The widget.build will come with, by default, will return the container widget. So let's set ours to scaffold. But before that, let's import the material package. Awesome. Let's remove the unused packages. Then we'll head over to, in our landing screen, we had the bottom button. Let's head over to the bottom button class. And on pressed, we want to add some code functionality to it, so that when we click on the button on the landing screen, it will direct us to the playground screen so that you can see the design that we're creating. So we'll set the navigator and set it as navigator.push. Pick the context of that class and define the material page root. Set the builder and define it to the const playground screen. Awesome. So this part of the code, what it does is it helps you navigate or route from one screen to the next through a button. So with that done, we can try and click on it and it will take us to our playground screen, which is currently plain. Awesome. So now let's start working on the playground screen. Inside the scaffold, we'll set the up bar, and the up bar will hold a title. This title, we can set it in the constant.dart with the variable name up title. Coding AI. Then we'll pick it and go and paste it on our text widget. Import the constants .dart file. Great. You can see our screen is coming to form. Then we'll set the body. Our body will hold a single child scroll. The reason for that is that our screen will have a number of widgets, and again, the completions that will come, we don't have control over the number of words or characters. So we just want to handle the case where text or widgets will overflow and pass the size screen. So we'll be in a situation where we need to scroll and the like. So that's what the single child scroll view allows us to do. So that's just a safe thing that we are just adding, just in case the app is actually displayed in a smaller screen. Then in our single child scroll, we have the column. We use the column when you're aligning widgets vertically, which is in our case. So we've set the first text widget, which states enter prompt, and we can see it on the screen. Then we want to set a text field. Our text field will look like a text area in, I think, HTML or CSS. That's what we define it. We define it as text area so that we want to give the user a room to define their prompts. And unlike the text field, which is a one-line widget and it overflows, so we want a widget where the user can enter and also see the code in different lines, or see their prompts in different lines, in short. So to do that, we have to play around with the text field widget by setting the main lines to 8 and not setting a max line, just to give it that flexibility. And we decorate it by giving it a hint text, just to give the user an idea of what we expect, or how you can define your prompt. So prompt engineering is quite complex, mainly depending on the type of model that you're using. So it won't be easier said than done how we're going to call our prompt. It has to be very detailed, as you can remember our second episode when we talked about how to create good prompts, but also dependent on the type of model. The model that we're using, the OpenAI Codex, is still in beta version, so we don't know what to expect. But the creation of prompts it's a very important. It's not just a matter of entering just simple words and text. It's a matter of entering the keywords so that we help the model to define or to return for us precise completions. So we just given the user a simple example of how to define the prompts so that they can get something back that is more precise and more deterministic. Then we have our elevated button, which we'll use to click on, which will initiate the request to OpenAI. So we would have used enter. We would have just set if user submits or presses enter, let's just push a request. But if you see we're using a text area, the enter will be used to add more text or more content for the prompt, so we don't want to use that. So let's just create a simple button that will just perform that specifically. So with that done, our button looks good. The alignment, will work on it once we have added all our widgets, but so far so good. Yes, so the button looks exactly like the one in our design. So we'll align it to the right. Awesome. Next thing, we are going to add another text widget. That states completion, just as a label. And then we're going to hold another text widget, but with it will be a certain type of text widget. If you recall, in the beginning we imported a few packages, and one of them is the animated text widget, and this is where now we use it. So we're going to set the animated text widget that holds a property animated text that expects children, but we just have only one child, so we're going to add it there. There are different types of animations in the animated text widget, but we're going to use the typewriter one. We're going to define a dummy completion for now, just to see how, because we're just working on the layout for now. So we're going to set a dummy completion or a completion that we would expect OpenAI Codex to return to us. So it will be a text widget, and then as you can see from the screen, the typewriting animation is being displayed, which is awesome. So let's do that again. Let's click and we can see. Awesome. Next thing, we're going to set our bottom button. You'll find that it will be much easier now, because all we're doing is just calling the bottom button class. But now here is where we're going to use the props, because if you recall, if we save that, we're going to be carrying the text, the button text, as the one in the landing screen. But if you look at our design, it's the text on the button is different. So let's work on that. That's where now we'll start adding props depending on the type of screen that the bottom button will be displayed in. Awesome. Next, let's see, we can do some alignment dot start, so everything starts from awesome. And then we're going to add padding. Awesome. Then we're going to add some padding on the text field. Better yet, yes, text field, the button first. Awesome. And also the text field. Great. Let's style our enter prompt so that it's bold, because it's more of an instruction. And font size. Awesome. Yeah, now it looks better. Next, let's also design or style our completion title. Because it's also an instruction, just more of a label here, showing us that whatever is below is a completion that has come from the OpenAI Codex. We just set the brand color that we have. Great. You can also add padding to the animated text kit. First, there's some properties that you can add on the animated text kit, or specifically the typewriter animated text. You can give it different curves. You can decide how you want it to pop into the screen. So we're going to use a curves.ease and give it a millisecond of 80, because if you saw earlier, it was typing quite fast. We just want to give it a slower theme. And then we're going to give it a style. Quite simple, nothing complex. Giving it the size and color. We might change that later, but we just want to show the difference between the upper part and the lower part. The upper part is more of entering the prompt, the lower part is now the completion. Awesome. Let's focus on our bottom button class by adding the props that we expect to be passed, which is the first will be the button text, and then the next one will be the screen number. The screen number refers to, we're going to name them as the landing screen will be 0, playground will be 1, completion will be 2, and the design screen will be 3. So if in our case we want the landing screen to pass 1 will refer to playground. This screen number we'll use it when we want to navigate on the on pressed. That's why we are adding it. So we pass the requirements so that it's a must for these properties to be passed. Required this dot button text. required this dot screen number. Awesome. Then we'll head over to our const playground. So instead of setting it default, or should we start with the button text? Let's just set the button text to widget.button text. Remove const, awesome, and set it on text style. Great. The next thing, we're going to now handle the navigator. So give it an iterary operation per se by saying widget.screenNumber. If it's equal to 1, let's call the playground screen. Else, for now, since we don't have any other screen, we'll navigate it back to the landing screen. Awesome. So we'll get an error on the playground and as well as on the landing screen. So in the playground, we'll set the screen number to the next one, which is 2, which is a completion screen that we're going to create next. And the button text will be, according to the screen, it should be the completion button. Let's see. View completions. We'll also have an error on the landing screen. So we'll set the screen number to 1, which refers to the playground screen, and then the button text will be the landing. We'll set it. Awesome. Great. So our states are handled. Our buttons are represented properly. So let's head over to the next